Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring Fabula Ultima TTJRPG. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review featuring this tabletop RPG that attempts to bring the Japanese video game RPG experience to your table, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to start with the different classes that you can use to build your characters. First we have the Arcanist. Arcanists can fall into a deep trance and temporarily project a considerable portion of their soul outside the body, giving it physical form. So it's kinda like a stand in JoJo. These summoned forms are said to be manifestations of the ancestral souls belonging to mythical entities of legend, known as the Arcana. When it comes to skills, you have things such as Arcane Regeneration. When you summon an Arcanum, you immediately recover a number of hit points. You also have Bind and Summon. You may bind Arcana to your soul and summon them later. You may spend an action and spend 40 mind points to summon an Arcanum you have bound. You also have Arcane Circle. After you willingly dismiss an Arcanum on your turn during a conflict, if that Arcanum had not been summoned during this same turn, and you have an arcane weapon equipped, you may immediately perform the spell action for free. Let's talk about the Arcana. When you summon an Arcanum, you gain its merge benefits. Those benefits last until the Arcanum is dismissed. You cannot summon an Arcanum while already merged with one. You must first dismiss the current Arcanum. In addition, most Arcana have a powerful dismiss effect, which may only be activated when you willingly dismiss the Arcanum. Each Arcanum is associated with a few key concepts or domains. Let me give you a couple of examples of these Arcana. You have the Arcanum of the Forge. The domains are fire, heat, metal. When it comes to merge effects, you have resistance to fire damage, and any fire damage you deal ignores resistance. When it comes to dismiss effects, when you dismiss this Arcanum, choose Forge or Inferno. In the case of Forge, you create a basic armor, shield or weapon of your choice. If you select this option again, the previously created item vanishes. If you create a weapon this way, it deals fire damage instead of physical. There is also Inferno, of course. Choose any number of creatures you can see. Each of them suffers 30 fire damage. This damage ignores resistances. Then we have things such as the Arcanum of the Gate, with the domains of space, travel, void. Concerning merge effects, you have resistance to dark damage, and you gain a +1 bonus to your magic defense. When it comes to dismiss effects, when you dismiss this Arcanum, choose Oblivion or Warp. When it comes to Oblivion, choose any number of creatures you can see. Each of them suffers 30 dark damage. This damage ignores resistances. When it comes to Warp, you teleport yourself and up to 5 other nearby willing creatures to a location you previously visited, if that location is within 1 travel day. And there are many other Arcana such as the Arcanum of the Grimoire, the Arcanum of the Oak, Arcanum of the Sky, and so forth. Next we have the Chimerist. Chimerists gather their power from the souls of the monsters and beasts they encounter. By manipulating their inner wild energy, these mages may mimic the magical abilities of monsters and have reached a supernatural understanding of feral creatures. Chimerists frequently rely on their toughness and physical prowess in addition to magic. When it comes to skills, you have things such as Consume. After you deal damage to 1 or more creatures with a spell, if you have an arcane, dagger or flail weapon equipped, you recover a number of mind points. You also have Feral Speech. You can communicate with creatures of the beast, monster and plant species. There is also Spell Mimic. When you see a creature belonging to the beast, monster or plant species cast a spell, you may immediately choose to learn that spell as a Chimerist spell of your own. Next we have the Darkblade. Darkblades are somber and powerful warriors who hide a sorrowful past. Due to tragic experiences on the battlefield or in personal life, Their souls have developed an affinity for pain and shadow energy. You have skills such as Agony. After you deal damage to one or more creatures, if you have a bond towards at least one of those creatures, you may recover a number of hit points and mind points. You also have Dark Blood. As long as you are in crisis, you have resistance to dark damage and poison damage. There is also Heart of Darkness. Once per scene, upon entering crisis, you may choose a specific creature you can see that you don't have a bond towards. If you do, create a bond of hatred towards that creature. Then we have the Elementalist. An Elementalist has learned to channel the souls that flow within the basic elements of creation: air, earth, fire, and water. Some of them develop complex spells to contain the powerful energies of nature. Others seek its protection in harmony and communion. Elemental magic can be highly destructive, causing damage and inflicting negative status effects. You have skills such as Cataclysm. When you cast an instantaneous spell, if you have an arcane weapon equipped, you may increase the spell's total mind points cost. If you do so and the spell deals damage to one or more creatures, it will deal 5 extra damage to each creature for every 10 mind points, by which you increased its total MP cost. There is also Magical Artillery. When you cast an offensive spell, if you have an arcane weapon equipped, you gain a bonus to your magic check. You also have many elementalist spells such as Elemental Shroud. You weave magical energy and protect the targets from the fury of the elements. There is also Fulgur. You weave electricity into a wave of crackling bolts. Each target hit by this spell suffers bolt damage, and it is also possible for the target to end up dazed because of this attack. There is also Ventus. You summon the power of winds against your enemy. Each target hit by this spell suffers air damage. There is also a chance that each flying target hit by this spell is forced to land immediately. So there are many elemental spells such as Iceberg, Ignis, Terra, Vortex. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to continue with the classes. When it comes to the Arcanist, I think that this is a very complex class. Very fun indeed because of the different effects when you summon and dismiss your Arcana. So this class is all about having fun, matching the effects of your Arcanum to the situation. Maybe you want your Arcanum to remain for some passive effects, but maybe you want to dismiss them for an explosive result. When it comes to the Chimerist, this is certainly a very sturdy spellcaster type of class. But you definitely want to take the situation towards the natural environment. But even if you go into some industrial places, make sure that you take these spells, the abilities from different beasts and such, to use them in such environments. When it comes to the Darkblade, this is all about being an edgelord. This is about darkness, suffering, hatred. A very offensive class that still provides some defensive choices. Concerning the Elementalist, at first glance this may seem like a glass cannon, and in certain ways it is, but the destructive power and the status effects enhanced or enacted through your spells and skills are worth it. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.